is the woman who has done it all. So what could possibly be next?
Do you feel this notorious biological clock?
Absolutely.
Well, what time is it then?
It's time.
And later, Primetime, now from TV1 in New York. Diane Sawyer.
It's so easy to imagine the Madonna who strikes the pose, the Madonna who creates the music, the outrage, and controls all that money. But for some reason, it's hard to remember that she's also a 37-year-old woman who goes home at the end of the day, shuts the door, and like the rest of us, dreams a dream in the dark. And that's the woman you are going to meet tonight. With Forrest Sawyer, Madonna remembering a little girl whose mother died when she was 5 years old, a marriage to Sean Penn that couldn't be sustained, and looking ahead and wondering about the highest tightrope she's ever walked, her starring role in the film Evita.
Tú piensas que yo no.
I had a dream. This is ridiculous. Why am I dreaming about these things? But I dreamt that I opened up Billboard magazine and my song had dropped to #3 and Whitney Houston's had gone to #1. And then I went down to my voice teacher's, her studio where I take lessons, and I walked in and she was humming Whitney Houston's song. And I was devastated. This is what I'm dreaming about.
Even though Madonna's already recording the Spanish version of the hit single from her new album, Something to Remember, she is still anxious. It's not easy to survive being called Lou or blasphemous, or an outrageous exhibitionist, and still stay on top. But Madonna has.
It seems to me that a lot of what your work is about image in some fashion.
Well, I'm a visual artist.
And you keep reinventing yourself. Is that a fair way to put it?
No, I think that's a really boring way to put it. I get so exasperated when I hear that I'm reinventing myself. It's like,
Well, you're not just getting a dye job, you know. I mean, these are completely different looks.
but so any girl that like reads Vogue magazine, I mean, you know, you change with the times. New clothes come out, you get interested in different fashion, you want to change the color of your hair, and for some weird reason, people connect that with some sort of negative connotation, like some sort of like conscious manipulation of people, which it absolutely is not. I can't tell you how far from the truth that is.
Calculating is the word they use.
Calculating. Well, that's another way, you know, I'm calculating, I'm controlling, I'm ambitious. It's not a bad thing to want to control things. It's not a bad thing. I mean, we are all manipulative in our everyday life with people. You're manipulating me right now in this interview. And
I'm
that's
doing the
all right.
best I can.
Exactly. I mean, when you look at, for instance, look at Robert De Niro, or look at any great actor who completely reinvents themselves for their roles in their movies. When he does it, it's looked at as art. When I do it, it's looked at as evil and manipulative.
And so is that hard?
To deal with? Well, yeah, I mean, it's not pleasant. I'm sure you get it at least a little bit. I mean, everyone's jealous of anyone that's doing well.
Yeah, but, I mean, what you get is a rainstorm of stuff. Periodically, people come...
If Princess Diana can take it, I can.
Here's the conventional wisdom. Madonna has this sense of where the culture is and what's acceptable, particularly sexually. And she has, in the past, certainly pushed the envelope just that little bit further, kind of every step.
Right.
And that is intentional.
Well, sometimes it's been intentional and sometimes it hasn't. For instance, when I was doing my Justify My Love video, I never set out to push the envelope, piss people off, annoy people. But I swear to you, I didn't. And then when it, you know, it came out and it like shocked so many people, and people were, you know, reacting in such an outrage, that's when it sort of like pushed my buttons and made me want to sort of push things further, because I thought, that is such hypocrisy.
I think that you actually had dug some new ground. And when you were moving toward putting out the book Sex, there was a lot of interest.
Yes, well,
right? I mean, they're interested in the subject to begin with, and they're interested that you are going to explore it.
No, I'm sure they were all like saying, okay, now what is she going to come up with, you know, and will we tie her to the whipping post?
So how did that affect your career? How did that affect you?
Suddenly I was pigeonholed as, or labeled as this woman, this raving nymphomaniac who's obsessed with sex and shocking people. So I did think that I needed to sort of go away in a certain sense and kind of rethink how I was going to continue as an artist.
The conventional rap is Madonna sings, you bet. Dances, terrific. Puts on a show that'll knock your socks off.
Cook some mean spaghetti.
Some hellacious spaghetti. Acting, I don't know.
Well, I don't blame them for thinking that. They haven't seen me in very many good movies. I don't disagree with them. But there's a difference between being in bad movies and being a bad actress. I don't think I'm a bad actress. I think I've been in a lot of bad movies.
It certainly puts pressure on your next venture.
Yeah, it does.
A lot. And you're taking a swipe at a pretty big project.
Well, the good thing about Evita is that it is a musical, so people will be more accepting of me in that role because so much of it is about music.
Describe Evita for me. Eva Peron, describe her.
I mean, psychoanalyze.
Yeah, what kind of woman is she?
Desperate, misunderstood, generous.
She had a drive about her.
Yes.
She was a little hurt by life.
Hugely hurt. Yes.
Any of this sound familiar at all to you?
Yes, of course.
You know, it just struck me, you know, when I was describing Eva Peron, and I said she was hurt by life,
Yes?
I watched how you reacted to that.
Yes, Dr. Sawyer. How did I react?
Well, you sort of took it in a bit.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, believe me, I've done extensive research about her, and...
No, actually, I'm thinking of you.
Okay.
And why do you feel hurt by life?
Why am I so hurt? I think, you know, losing my mother at a very young age was a devastating experience, and I really did feel completely abandoned at that point in my life, and I'm sure that has influenced every decision that I've made, and sort of left me with a feeling, a hunger, a longing, a feeling of emptiness. You sort of grow up being afraid to love things because they're going to leave you. And maybe that's why I overreact to things. I'm oversensitive to things because a lot of times I think, are both of your parents still alive?
They are.
Are you close to them?
I am.
Yeah. Isn't it great to be able to call them up? And I don't know, I don't know if you call your mother all the time, but it's so,
I call my mother all the time.
Yeah, well, I am constantly, you know, in these situations where I'm completely frustrated and absolutely no one can come to my rescue and make me feel better. And I always say, God, I wish I had a mother that I could call. And I don't.
What do you do with that? You're by yourself.
Yes.
Can you reach out to anybody?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have incredible friends.
Is there any place at all? Because this is important. This is
It is.
for a lot of people. Is there any place at all where you can go to feel safe?
Safe. This is such a good question. And I think I should just cancel my shrink appointment. Is there any place I can go that's safe? No, not really. I suppose. Well, that's not true. I have a sister who's married, and she has a son, and they live in Los Angeles. And she's the closest thing. She has the personality of my mother, and she, when I really want to, like, when I'm desperate, I run to her house. And because she has the, to me, the warmth of a family and a real nurturing environment around her, and she's not connected to the business, and so I can go to her house and lay on the couch and watch stupid movies with her son, and you know, dinosaur movies, and really, in a way, feel safe and away from everything.
If you look back over your life, is there one true love that stands out?
Absolutely. Sean.
Nobody comes close.
No.
Could anybody come close?
Why not?
I don't know. Sometimes people close down. Sometimes
No,
people
I'm
put
absolutely
you
not
know.
closed down. No. I'm an incurable romantic.
This does raise the question of meeting men. Is that a problem? Men being the way they are.
It's not a problem meeting them. It's a problem meeting one of them is, you know, someone who's not an
Well, you know, there are certain stereotypes that people are going to have to wade over.
in terms of me.
Yeah.
I know. That's
I
what,
mean, they think they walk in the apartment, there's going to be a whip collection on the wall.
yes. A couple of cages.
That sort of
Lots
thing.
of burning candles.
So they have to get past that.
Yeah, they do. And if they can't, then that's their problem. Because I'm so much more than that. I'm not even that. When I meet people and I get to know them, they always say, God, you're so sweet. You're so vulnerable. You know, and my whole thing is, God, can't you see that? Can't you see that in everything that I do? I mean, I think it's obvious.
If things went the way you really wanted them, would you marry again?
Yeah, definitely.
Family?
Definitely.
Bambinos?
Absolutely.
What if you don't meet the right guy?
Well, then I'll adopt a baby. Or two. But I'm sure I'll meet the right guy. I'm sure of it.
Do you feel this notorious biological clock?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Yeah, what time is it then?
It's time.
You mean pretty much now?
Yeah, but now I have to do this movie.
And then after the movie?
After the movie, I'm going to put a couple of ads in the New York Times, Village Voice. Who knows who's going to apply for, you know, the fatherhood gig.
Somewhere in that mix, your music keeps going?
Of course. Always.
Que no voy a descubrir la forma de volver atrás.
Some people wonder if, you know, at a certain point when it's not as hot or as commercially successful as it is now, and it happens to everybody.
Has happened to me.
Does that cause you to want to back off, to bail out?
No. Nope. I love music. Okay?
Okay. And by the way, if you're thinking of applying for that fatherhood gig, Primetime will not be screening the applicants. Write Madonna directly.
Coming up.
She's the one-name wonder whose controversial career forced the world to sit up and listen. The boy toy, the material girl, the seductress. Now, in an exclusive network interview, a different side of Madonna.
Losing my mother at a very young age was a devastating experience.
Madonna tells Forrest Sawyer about motherhood, marriage, and her one true love.
Nobody comes close.
No.